Hi guys, it is grad season. It's the 20th of August 2025. My graduation is in exactly 7 days. And I have not started making my outfit, which is not a surprise because when it comes to making stuff for myself, I always do it at the very last minute. Honestly speaking, this graduation outfit has been planned for the longest time. Like, I know exactly what I'm wearing, and I'm gonna be taking you guys through the entire process. I have literally planned out the entire graduation from concept, mood boards, the entire outfits, every single detail, through to the photo shoots and everything. And in as much as this is very main character-ish, guys, I am graduating from fashion school. Allow me to be as main character as possible. It's about the clothes, everything surrounding the clothes, and myself as the subject. From ideation to mood boarding to design development to making the outfit, photo shoot, all through to the final day. Everything is going to be in this video, so just stay tuned and watch the entire process. Let's get started. This is Signed.LQ graduation. Right, so I finished the skirt pattern. That was done really quick and snappy, super easy, finished in flash. Now we're gonna get started on the jackets. That's where all the hard work is gonna come into play because it needs to be very well tailored, very structured, proper shoulders, sharp, everything needs to look good. And that's gonna take quite a while. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my measurements, and that's going to be a bit tricky because there's nobody here to measure me. I'm going to have to measure myself and try and be as accurate as possible. To make things easier, I've got a pattern block for a fitted jacket, so that's going to expedite the drafting process because I don't have to draft from scratch. So I started off with measuring myself, which isn't the easiest of things for me to do. It can be a hit or miss most times, but I do my best to get the most important measurements accurate, and then I just wing the rest. I did a quick line drawing of the final look and got straight into pattern cutting, but before we get too far in, I'm going to take you guys back to the very beginning when I started mood boarding and planning and just walk you through every decision that I made, because for me, graduation wasn't just another day. It wasn't just about walking across the stage. It was the culmination of a journey I've been on for over 10 years. Actually, I've been in this game for more than 15 years. Trust and believe that I was going to play about my graduation. I've been making noise about it for the longest time. But yeah, let me not yap too much. Let's get into it. Everything surrounding that day had to be very intentional. The walk, the moment, the feeling, the outfit, every single detail mattered to me. Most especially the outfit, because I've always backed the concept of clothing being an extension of the wearer, a reflection of who we are, what we stand for, and how we want to be seen. So it was important for me for what I wore to tell a part of my story, not in its entirety, but at least to complement my story. So I started compiling images to create a visual. Coming off of my final major project, Mokoni, which flipped the narrative and elevated undervalued artisans, it was only right for me to wear a suit to bring in that same seriousness and command. Graduating from my creative pathway, especially being compared to other fields, wouldn't be regarded as highly. I wanted to look super sharp and smart, like someone who takes her craft very seriously, because that's who I am. But then I didn't want it to look performative. It still had to look like me. Being a maximalist at heart, the silhouette mattered to me the most. It had to be structured. It had to be a strong shape. That was the foundation, and the remaining essence of the look was captured in the supporting details. In as much as I wanted to wear a suit, it was still summertime and it was pretty warm, so I opted for a skirt. I thought it would look really chic and feminine, and if you know me, you know I'm short, so me and long skirts don't go together proportion wise, so it had to be a very petite skirt. For the jacket, I wanted to be snatched. Like, can you snatch me more? I wanted a super cinched waist and wide power shoulders, very sculpted shoulders, just to complement that hourglass look. Super large collar and Rivera as well, because go big or go home. I literally go big or go home. It took quite a while, but I managed to get through the main bodice pattern and I put together a quick shell just to test the fit. It's super easy doing this on a mannequin or on another person, but doing this on myself was a bit challenging. I put it on and it was a great start. I was liking how it was looking. It's just it needed a few changes and it was so hard trying to pin the corrections on myself. I felt the skirt was too tight. I wanted the shaping of the hip to be a bit less dramatic. A few things needed tweaking. Plus we were on a time crunch, so there were a few things I just had to accept. I couldn't change because I didn't have the time to. I've taken this video like 7 times. So when I started it was 8:30, but now it's 8:36, Sunday, the 24th of August. I believe I have 4 days and 8 hours to make all my dreams come true. And I'm looking bummy right now. It's because I literally woke up like an hour ago, freshened up, and we're back on this blazer. Yesterday, I managed to sew the entire skirt. This is what it's looking like. I need to get a zip, but then this is completely finished. It's just left with the zip. And I also corrected all the patterns on the main bodice of the blazer. And today I need to fix the sleeve, test the sleeve on the twirl. Once that's finished, I can cut out this entire blazer pattern and we can get started. I hope to finish this today, and I want to finish this today before I leave. And I'm going to be time-lapsing most of it because I can't be changing angles. I just need to lock in and get the work done. Let's get into this work because we need to make it happen. I got right back onto pattern cutting, and I can't lie, the pressure was starting to build up a little bit. But in a situation like this, you guys keep composed because crashing out will not help. A few things needed resolving: the sleeve, the collar. The shawl had to be perfect, or at least close enough to perfect that I can draft my linings and facings. I had reached a point of compromise where certain little things that I usually wouldn't overlook, I was overlooking. I had to change gears and speed up. I quickly put the sleeve on and I tried it on again. But still, there were a few things that needed changing, and this part was difficult because I had to pin my back and bruh. This has to be finished today. Eddie. Now we more snug. Yeah, I just need to close that down there. I can fix that. I can fix that easily. I was liking the fit of it, but then I still felt like I needed to change one last thing to be fully content, or at least 80% content. And after I had done that, I was happy tracing off the final pattern pieces and cutting out my fabric because there was literally no time for any overthinking, any retracing, any dilly-dallying. No, it was straight into cutting the final pieces and sewing straight away. I got this burgundy fabric that I got from Roy's. It literally just said suiting material on the label, so I don't know what the composition is if anyone's interested. Sorry! Guys, it is exactly 10 o'clock. I went home to have a quick shower, I had something to eat, and now I'm back. This evening we're not sleeping. We're actually not sleeping tonight at all until everything is finished to at least 80, 85, 90%. Let's get to work. I looked into cutting out my pieces. Believe me when I tell you this is my least favorite part of the design process, because why does it take so long? It took like 2 hours to cut out all the pieces, including lining, and most times I literally just zone out because it's such a repetitive task. I would skip it if I could, but then obviously I can't skip it. Like, I've pattern cut for nearly 3 days straight. You're telling me I now have to pin every single pattern piece down to the fabric and cut out the fabric again? And imagine I have to cut a pair or cut 4 pieces of the same pattern. Come on now. If there's any quicker way of doing this, please save me, because I don't like cutting out pieces. This was a very, very productive all-nighter. I finished cutting out all the pieces and I locked into sewing. Like, I knew I was productive because I reached a point where I wasn't even vlogging what I was doing. I know that sounds like an excuse, but believe me, I was locked into sewing and that's good enough. Sorry I couldn't vlog. By the end of that day, I had gotten through most of the jackets and I was very content with the progress that was made. But still, I was running out of time and there were some non-compromisable details that under no circumstance was I going to sacrifice. I had to speed up with the outfit so I could move on to the next phase of the look. As I said, the suit was just the foundation of the story. The full essence of it was captured in the details as well. I really wanted to design and develop a custom bracelet for myself as a grad present, but there simply wasn't enough time to get this done properly. I thought that if there was anything that formed part of the identity of a fashion designer or the uniform of a designer, it would be the measuring tape on the neck and the pincushion on the wrist. I fear to say it's a universal look, but I'm certain we can all agree on those two things being very key identifiers of fashion designers, dressmakers, seamstresses, tailors, because they're two very important things for day-to-day work. I mean, yeah, fair enough, we don't wear powdered wigs like lawyers. We don't use briefcases, hard hats, or high-vis jackets. Our stethoscope is our measuring tape, and our pincushion is just as important. It was such a huge part of the story that I felt like leaving it out, I would be missing a whole chapter. So I had to activate my inner DIY, my inner innovator, and just figure out a way to make it work. Naturally, I'm a very crafty person. Like, I love to do things like this way before I even found the love for making clothes. So doing this was not hard at all. I found some toothpicks, some beads, and I got a wooden sphere of Amazon, a watch strap, some super glue, some tweezers, and I just got to work, and I finished this in literally under an hour. The objective was to create a maximalist, highly elaborate gold bracelet that still maintained its identity as a pincushion, because that's what it was supposed to be, but then it still looked like very exaggerated, abstract, and artsy by the time I had finished, and I just loved it so much. Once I had finished putting all the pins on, I spray coated it a few times in a rich gold color, and immediately it gave Scaparelli, like Danny Roseberry, sign me please. Flawless execution, W's in the chat. I was so happy I gave it a shot and I didn't give up on it. Like, I was so proud of myself. Once that was done, I left it to dry and I was on to the next phase. Graduating as an international student from Ghana, I couldn't think of any other way more recognizable than using a kente stool to tell everybody that I came from Ghana. I came, I saw, I conquered. In recent times, they had become so popular that I knew every single Ghanaian would have one. And I'm not against that. It's just, I need a standout piece. I can't look like everyone else. As soon as my parents arrived in the UK, I went to pick up my stole and I brought it back to the studio to finish off the last thing that would complete my look for graduation. I knew I wanted to merge my fashion journey and my schooling journey in a meaningful and clever way by incorporating this measuring tape detail that I also thought was deeply poetic. Putting these two things together, I created what I call my measuring stole. I went through about 2 or 3 versions of this design before I finally decided on this one. The first one I did I felt was too common. I just used a standard layout for kente stoles. I understand they probably all look the same because of the limitations in how it's woven. So I scrapped it and I started again, and I figured embroidery would give me the freedom to customize my fonts, play with scale, and lots of other motifs that wouldn't be achievable with normal kente weaving. I was very careful in selecting what I put on the stole because every detail added depth to the story. I went with a fern as my Adinkra symbol, which symbolizes endurance, courage, strength of will, persistence. I also made it a point to flip my course title from fashion design to Bachelor of Arts with honors in Oyediye, celebrating and uplifting local artisans. The embroidery was done perfectly, but what they couldn't do in Ghana was the side stitching, but that was no problem for me at all. I stitched this by hand, painstakingly. It took hours and hours and hours, but it was so worth it. This was the last thing I finished, and I set off to Leicester ready for graduation. Graduation was amazing. It was a very, very memorable day, just as I had imagined and even more. I felt so much love. I felt so much fulfillment that I'm not even going to voice over it. Just take it in. Got it? You can get it, There we go. Alright, intensive.
What you need to do and how you will take Lololi Amakwashiga.
How can we do it?
You can do it. Ask me what time it is. What time is it? Oh, you do that first. Oh, I'm gonna take my time. I'm not gonna go for that.
Just wait smooth.
First class, what? Some people talk too much. It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Bye, Lester.
Graduation day was absolutely fantastic, but there was one last thing left to do. We initially planned to do this photo shoot before the day of graduation so I can post on the day of. But I was working super last minute, so we had to postpone this till after.
Relax.
There were some key images off of my mood board that I wanted to recreate. The objective of the shoots was to have at least 3 solid pictures. They were all fashion focused, so I used my ironing board as a prop, I used my mood boards. But the most important picture I wanted to recreate was having the vintage sewing machine on my shoulder as an ode to the Oyadieye of Ghana. I thought it was a perfect way to close off a beautiful story told, which is only just beginning, by the way.
Oyadieye.